And joining us now is their head coach, David Alexander, heading into his third year as the head coach of the Tigers. Coach Alexander now joins us on the OKPreps Round Up, powered by Excel Therapy. Coach, thanks so much for taking some time and joining us for this special Sunday edition of the program.
Good morning, Michael.
Now you're going to the year number 3, and it seems like the last 3 years have just flown by. You've been able to really put your mark on this program over the last couple of years. You made it to the state title game last year in year number 2, fell short to Jinx in that championship game, but you were able to knock off the Trojans in district play. Now you enter year number 3. What's different about this program as opposed to this time 3 years ago when you were taking over this team?
Well, that's a great question, Michael. And I hope what's different is everything is built around the team aspect. We do team accolades. We get team accolades. We do team admonishments. We all have to be in this together. To beat teams like Union and Jinx to get to their level, you almost have to be perfect. Those teams are so well, so much talent, so well coached, and the programs have been built for so long that, you almost have to be perfect to win. And so that's what we strive for every day. And we're not afraid of talking about it, Michael. That is the goal. So, we talk about being perfect and how we do things, lining up correctly, how we warm up, what we wear, how we perform on each play, and that's the only way I believe that we can get to their level.
Let's talk about some of the keys to making it back to a state championship game this year. You have to replace a lot of guys, especially on offense up front. Rowdy Frederick, the now TU offensive lineman, some skill players like Sammy Akim, now a wide receiver at Montana, also the school's all-time leading rusher in Jamal Shaw. So you have some new faces on offense. Who has stood out to you offensively as you head into the 2016 season?
Well, yeah, you just rolled off 3 guys' names right there that are really, really almost impossible to replace. But the one thing we have going for us offensively, not the one thing, but the main thing we have going for us offensively is Cade Yeager.
Yeah.
We're the only school of, I guess it was his quarterback's back, but, we have our quarterback back, which most teams in 6A1 this year do not. And he's going to have a fantastic season. But the younger guys that have stood out that have done such a great job is Corbin Chambers is going to be our number 1 tailback, and he had a great scrimmage over at Union against Mustang, 130 yards and a half. Our receiving core, I'm really proud of them. Young, tall, and athletic, a little bit of inexperience, obviously, but got something to work with, and that's going to be Zach Marcaselli and Jeremiah Holiday and Matt Kaiser. And then obviously having Devin Clayton and Brandon Hildebrand at tight ends. We've got some big, long guys, good-looking football players that we're going to lean on. They're going to have to grow up quickly.
Now flipping to the defensive side of the ball, again, you have to replace some guys, but one of the guys you have coming back is Carter Key at linebacker, a guy who's already committed to a Division I program in Stephen F. Austin. And if that commitment holds true, he'll once again be teammates with Jamal Shaw. Shaw took off for Stephen F. Austin this year. Carter has the chance to become the school's all-time leading tackler. Is it safe to say that he's the heart and soul of this defense, especially at the linebacker position?
Well, there's no doubt. Not only is he a great football, not only is Carter a great football player and a tough young man, he's a great leader. He's showing these guys how to work. He's communicating to them the expectations of the defense. He's doing a great job. If you were only going to come back with a few starters, coming back with Cade Yeager and Carter Key would be a great place to start. But Carter, you've got his plate really full. He's got to play great, but he's also got to lead and to communicate with the defense.
Now, when we head into this season, again, you made it to the title game a year ago. You beat the team that you fell to in the championship game during the regular season. What can you take away from last year's experiences? Obviously, when you're talking Broken Arrow this year, you talk about some of the guys you have to replace. But like you mentioned, you have some guys coming back who have experience of beating Jinx on Jinx's field last year and making it to the state championship game. What can you kind of take away from last year to kind of build some momentum into this season?
Well, we have to take away a lot from that, Michael. We have to make steps. We have to make strides to get to that championship, to hold the gold trophy. We got the silver one last year. So you have to make strides. You have to get better. The expectations have to be there. Going over and winning at Hunter Dwelly, first time they'd get beaten on their field since '06, I believe, gave our young team then and this group coming back, that experience, and hopefully it creates some confidence. That we know we've done it, we can do it. Now going into the championship game, that was Jinx's fourth in a row, and they're 16th out of 20 or something like that, and that was Broken Arrow's third time ever in a state championship game. So
right.
We have to build on that. We have to get back there and get accustomed to playing in those big games, and that's one of the reasons. Also, when I got the job, we started talking about going to Texas and playing great opponents and playing big games in front of big crowds and get used to that environment. And I think playing in last year's game will help this team start off the season more confident than teams in the past.
That kind of leads me to my next question. You open up the season against Euless Trinity on Friday night, and it's going to be a big-time matchup. Euless Trinity most recently played a back-to-back with Jinx and Union. They lost to Jinx. They beat Union in back-to-back years. Now they get their chance to take on the Tigers. And you mentioned wanting to go down to Texas. You opened up the season last year at Capel. You were able to get a thrilling overtime win over them last year. Now you open up the season against Euless Trinity down there in Texas. Is this something that we can get used to seeing with the Tigers going down to Texas for season openers and early season matchups against some of these Texas powers?
Yes, Michael. We're going to go ahead and challenge ourselves. We're going to go down to Texas and play every year, or play a Texas team every year. The Euless Trinity trip this season it's a big hill. They're a great team. They were ranked number 1 in the state last year when they went into the playoffs. Got a couple kids hurt and ended up getting upset in the playoffs. But they were 10-0, and they'd beaten everybody in their district, which included South Lake Carroll and DeSoto,
wow.
Some of the great powers everybody knew about. So they're a good football team, and it's a different matchup. It's a team that we won't ever see again. The style of play they have, they're big and physical. They play old school football. Go back and look at some old Green Bay Packers stuff. That's what you're going to get out of them. You're going to get 2 backs and 2 tight ends, and they're going to come downhill. And this game Friday night against them will not come down to who tricks who, or who's the prettiest, or who does the halfback pass. This is going to be who's the toughest football team.
Mm-hmm.
Going down there it'll be hot inside the Beltway, and we've got a tough matchup, but we're real excited. Our kids are just loving this opportunity to go to Texas.
And we'll get you out of here on this, Coach. It is week 0, and this will be the first time that some of the larger schools take advantage of the week 0 as opposed to opening up the season in week 1. Last year was the first year for it, and it was mainly just the smaller schools, 4A and on down, who played in week 0. But now we're seeing Union, Broken Arrow, Jinx, and Owasso will play each other in week 0. Is this something that we can again, start to see for the future, where you guys are going to schedule games as opposed to second scrimmages in this week 0 format?
Well, that is a great question, Michael. If you just look at the 10 games in 11 weeks, part of it, it's a great deal. It helps with scheduling. It helps teams, if they want to schedule teams in Texas because the calendars don't match up the way Oklahoma and Texas do them, it helps in that aspect. It gives us this year, a bye week before we go into district play, which of course I love. There is a negative to it, only having one scrimmage before you get into the season. This year with our team only having 6 starters back, which sure would have been nice to have a second scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of been the same sentiment I've heard from Coach Frederick when we talked over there at his scrimmage, and Coach Patterson, he was over there at Union scrimmage as well. It's our scrimmage against Mustang, that half game, was only our 5th day in pads. So as a head coach, you're trying to dot all your I's and cross all your T's and make sure everything's covered. I feel like we're a little bit behind in everything.
Mm-hmm.
But Euless is in the same boat. They started the same day we did, and they're going to play a game. They're going to play us on the 26th. So, even though I feel like preparation-wise we haven't gotten everything covered like you do in past years because you had 2 scrimmages and an extra week of practice, everybody's kind of in the same boat. So we'll just go strap it up on Friday night.
Coach, thanks so much for your time this morning. Looking forward to seeing what the Tigers can do this season, and it's going to be fun to watch it live on the OKPreps Network. And I'll see you down there in Dallas. I'll be making the trip down. I'll be spending part of the evening at the BA Euless Trinity game, and then I'll make my way over to take in some of the Union Southlake games. So looking forward to seeing you down in Dallas-Fort Worth on Friday.
It'll be good to see a familiar face down there instead of all those Texas guys, Michael. Thanks.
There you go. That's Broken Arrow head coach David Alexander joining us here on the OKPreps Roundup, powered by Excel Therapy. Again, that game will be live on the OKPreps Network on Friday night.